Hello everyone, Ben Lombard once again. Underdogs versus Discovery. We have a lot of more stories to tell, but the one that I want to share with you tonight is that of Elmar Lotz. If you thought you heard it all, listen to this one and make up your mind afterwards, and we would like you to share your thoughts on what you think is happening, especially with Underdogs versus Discovery. Elmar, thanks a lot. Thanks for making yourself available for this. And you have been contemplating whether you have a story to tell.
Yes.
You truly do.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's start with the beginning.
Okay. 2016, July month, I took out a policy. It was a business plan policy through a financial advisor that worked at that stage for Attooh, a juristic representative of Discovery. That was a business plan. In July, the month just after that, I took out another policy that was a classic life plan, also through the same financial advisor, also through that worked for Attooh, the same as the previous one. At that stage, I was quite busy. I was an electrical contractor.
You did some big jobs.
Yes, I did at that stage, and that's why I actually took out these policies, because I did the Ritz Hotel twice. There was two owners, so
that's a massive.
Yes, and while I was busy with that, for instance, I did 13 Valdevia houses and also 9 Bull Valley houses.
Very impressive.
Simultaneously. So I was not a Mickey Mouse business. Then, because I was so busy, I did ask this advisor numerous times to send me the policy schedules. He never sent it to me. So one day I just drove past his office, and I walked in there, and he was there, and I asked him, can he print out the policy schedules? Then I saw on my business plan policy schedule that my beneficiaries was wrongly made out. And I confronted him about this.
Who's this guy? You want to keep that to yourself?
Yes.
Okay, for
yes.
now.
So he then admitted that it was his fault, and he actually wrote me a few days after that. He wrote me a mail and told me that the only thing that I can do, and this was already in 2020, January month 2020.
That's 5 years ago.
Yeah, that 5 years ago, yes. But the policy was then already just for 4.5 years old. So I've already paid in more or less 250,000 rand into that one policy, my premiums. And his advice on mail was I must just not pay the policy, that it just lapsed, because he can't do anything about it, although he was at fault.
Yes, so he wanted to shift the blame to you. Well, he wanted you to fix up his blunders,
exactly,
so to speak.
Yeah. So he stuffed up there, and so that's the one policy. So then
So did it lapse?
Yes, it did. It did lapse.
And then you took out a new one?
No. I remember I had one. I took out this business plan in June 2016, and I took out another one, a classic life plan, in July 2016. So then I received my newly updated classic life plan policy schedule on the 3rd of December 2020, and I, like a normal person, I suppose, I just looked through the policy quickly, and I saw the beneficiaries was actually correct. Not the one that lapsed. This one was still
right.
Still in working.
Valid, yeah.
Yes. So on the 5th of December 2020, I ruptured my left Achilles.
How did that happen?
I made a back summy by my swimming pool.
Right here?
Right here. And
with the kids?
Yeah, the kids were here and all that, and I made a back summy and ruptured. And
purely accidental?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I went to hospital, to Panorama. First of all, I phoned my advisor, and he said, no, he's not going to help me. He's busy. And then I phoned his wife, because at that stage she was doing my medical. And she said I must go to Panorama. Went to Panorama in COVID time, heavy COVID time. Came there, and they made me sit there and then they had a look and said, yes, you ruptured your Achilles, here's a moon boot and some empanadas. They sent me home with a business card and must phone a doctor the Monday when he opens. So luckily for me, my neighbor at that stage were doing work, or she worked with doctors in Cape Cape. And she phoned the doctor that she knows that's actually quite good with Achilles ruptures. Mm. And he said that he will see me the 8th, the Monday, the Tuesday, sorry.
So now you're walking around the moon boot in the meantime?
Meantime, drinking bananas.
And drinking bananas.
Yeah. So I was operated on the 8th, and I was released to go back to home because of COVID and all that on the 9th. On the 11th, my advisor came to me. We sat here by the same table, and I was heavy medicated, and he said that I must fill in the forms. I said, listen, I can't even see there. So maybe you can help me fill in the forms. So he filled in the forms. He was left-handed. So his writing is quite different than mine. I'm right-handed. Then we sent off the forms, and what struck me immediately, as we sent this off to Discovery, they immediately came back and asked for my financials. And according to Discovery's technical guide, they can only ask for financials after 24 months.
Right.
So in the meanwhile, I looked through the policy again, and I saw the policy without my consent. They actually decreased my principal salary with the 40,000 rand. They decreased it. So then they came back and they said, but your policy was filled in incorrectly. Now remember, the same advisor filled in my policy.
Yeah.
While he was filling in my policy, he actually phoned somebody at Discovery. He was in the same room that I was sitting there. And he asked the person on the side, what must the percentages be for my client, his electrical contractor? And that person gave him all the percentages. So more than 4 years after that, in 2020, Discovery came back and I said, but my percentages were filled in incorrectly. They gave the advice. Yep. He filled it in with his handwriting. Then they said, okay, fine, but you don't earn that much of money that you did while we were in lockdown. Obviously, I didn't earn that much of money.
Quite understandably. So, yes. If nobody made any money in that period.
So, they started to pay me after nagging them for how many months? I think it was in February, March, somewhere, they started paying me just a little bit. So my principal salary was already decreased by 40,000 rand, and then they halved that again.
Yeah.
So then they only paid me so much money, and every time that I will type a mail to them and say, listen, this is not right, this is what you must pay me, what's going on here? And they will just say, but you're not earning that much, your financials are as stated. They never asked for my bank statements. If they had my bank statements, they could have seen, but listen, his principal salary must actually be much more than that.
Right.
Yes. So, there was an ongoing fight the whole time. Every month I must beg for payment. So then they came back and they told me, okay, I must go for rehab. And they sent me a rehab contract. And in this contract, it actually stipulated that if something happens to me, that will be on my own. They will not be to blame. So I wrote them a mail back and I said, I'm willing to do rehab because I must, otherwise I'm not compliant.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we will take out that clause, but I never signed the contract. And then they sent me to a hydrobiokineticist. In the middle.
That's Discovery sent you?
Yes. In the middle of winter.
Discovery itself, not the hospital. Discovery advised you to go.
Discovery,
right?
That was part of the rehab.
You have record of that?
Yes. I must do that. So in the middle of winter, no heated pool, nothing like that. I had to swim, and every time when I got into the water, I started to get cramps. So this lady actually told me at one stage, but she thinks that I'm acting, and I must remember that she's the one standing between me and my disability payout.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. I told her then, this is not the case. So she actually instructed me to get out the water. I dressed myself again, just in a towel, and I struggled to my vehicle. It was about 50 meters away. And as I tried to lift myself into the vehicle, I heard a tearing sound on my right Achilles. Remember, this was my left Achilles that actually ruptured. I phoned her numerous times, and after a while she actually came out and said, "What? Can I help you? What do you want?" I said, "Listen, something happened." Then she suddenly was concerned about me.
Now you're in the car already or lying on the floor still?
Now I'm in now. I pulled him up with my arms, and she told me, "Oh, it's probably just a sprain." And I said, no, it's not that. I can feel it actually in my right Achilles. It's similar to this one, but it's not ruptured. So I feel there's something wrong. So I phoned my doctor, and he was busy. I only could get an appointment, I think, after more or less than 3 months. And because he's actually quite good in what he do. Then I went to another doctor by Louis Leipold. And at that stage, when I got there, this lady that did the water therapy, she already sent a report through to him, trying to convince the doctor that that's only a sprain. So he looked at me and
so she's not equipped with the knowledge to...
Yeah, and she's not a doctor, but in any case, so then he told me walk to that wall and back, and I did that, and he said, "Okay, go for a sonar." I went to sonar. He came back to him again, and he said, "Yeah, I can't see anything wrong there." And then, luckily for me, I got the flu, but it was a heavy flu, and I was about 4.5 weeks. I was in bed.
Right.
Remember, I'm taking also pain meds the whole time. So now I must take away some of my pain meds to do my, just to do my other medication. So then I came into contact with my original doctor that operated on me. He told me go for a sonar, the same as the other doctor. When I came back, he said, "Well, I actually drawn the previous doctor's sonar and mine, and I've put them beside one another, and it shows exactly the same." So he had something, he called it Haglund something. It's actually in the in a medical report, and he instructed Discovery on a doctor's report. They must stop the rehab immediately because I'm damaging my right ankle, and I'm putting strain.
This is now specialist.
Specialist, yeah.
Not a water therapy.
No. And I'm putting strain on my left knee and my right hip and everything. He said, "Stop it immediately." Then Discovery never bothered me till the 24 months were actually done. Then they came and said, "Sorry, we're not going to pay you because you can still do some of your work." So, like I said, in the beginning, I was an electrical contractor. I have letters.
What did they expect you to be able to do then?
Sit behind the computer, maybe. That's it. So, in electrical trade,
while you were still able-bodied, you had to climb up ladders and...
yes, everything. So
now you can't do that.
No, I can't. So I have letters from builders that actually stating there's nothing wrong with my work or my previous work that I did for them. They actually would prefer me to do their work. But they can't allow me on site. There's no health and safety officer that will ever allow me on site. I can't get on site. Remember, the electrical contractor starts from the beginning till the end. When everybody's done, I'm still there.
Yeah.
And I was inspecting.
You stand good for every connector,
Yes.
every plug, every light.
And the electrical contractor must supply conduits and sleeves and all that for many trades. For not only my plugs and lights and all that, but intercoms, aircons, data, TV, Wi-Fi, whatever you want, alarm systems, everything. I must supply all of that. So there's lots of stages in a installation or a building. Depends on it's a single story or a three-story or a hotel. So I was not able to, and I will never be able to do that. I can't lift myself on my toes because I don't have a left Achilles.
I've seen that you walk with big difficulty just from the garage door to here.
I can't jump over trenches. I don't have any balance. You saw my left calf. It's 28 centimeter in diameter. My other one is 45. So that's a major difference.
It's scary.
So, like my doctor already stated in his last report, he said I must be permanently declared disabled. I will never be able to do my work. I don't have any balance. I'm a risk to myself and everybody around me on the building site. So, discovery stopped.
Occupational Act will not allow you to get involved.
No, they
anyway.
can't. Health and safety says just sorry, no.
That's by law.
That's law.
Not by choice.
Yeah, it's not my choice. Even if I wanted to still work, I will not be allowed.
You have to make peace with that.
Yes, unfortunately I have.
Right.
So, to cut a long story short, 3 doctors, even their own doctor, declared me disabled. Their own appointed doctor. He used...
Discovery's own doctor.
Yes.
Not very own doctor appointed.
Yeah.
Okay.
They appointed him in early stages, and he used electrical impulses with needles. So he will, for instance, go into my upper calf, or whatever was left there, upper calf, and he will push the needle a third in, switch on the machine, test for impulses, and he will go 2/3 and then all the way to the bone. And that he did numerous times, even in my big toe and my small toe.
There's nothing you can fake there.
There's nothing I can fake there. So if you push a needle and my foot goes like that, something happens, but my foot didn't. So he said, okay, everything is there, but the nerve doesn't work. That's in his report. Just before the end of my 24 months, Discovery mailed me and said they want a meeting.
Do you recall who called for that meeting?
I can't remember exactly, but I do have it on mail. And I said where and when, and I thought to myself, but I'm going to take my legal representative with me, just for in case they want to do something, just to be safe. We had an appointment, I don't know, can't remember the time, but that's on mail. We were 5 minutes earlier there.
Where was that now?
By Century City Discovery.
The head office in
Yes.
Cape Town.
So we sat there for almost 45 minutes waiting for them to come and fetch us. Before that, we went to the counter. I actually told them, I'm here to see Mr. Heinemann, and Shane has a difficult surname.
Guts, is it?
That one. And we walked up through the security into a lift to a small room. I think it was maybe 3 by 2.5.
Did you expect Hein to be there, or did you know it was going to be a virtual meeting?
They only said there will be senior representative of Discovery.
They did not say it's a virtual meeting.
Yeah. So when I walked in there, I recognized Shane's face because just
on the screen now. Or was he there in person?
A few weeks back, he actually phoned me and said he wants to come and visit me here.
Okay.
And I phoned my broker, not the previous one, the one that worked for Attooh, because I had a new broker then, because I understand there was lots of things that he did wrong. And then he came and sat here by me, and I offered him some coffee, and he said, no, thank you. And he saw me walk and everything, and I actually slipped in front of him. And then when I walked in, I greeted everybody, and I said, yes, I was at your home. You actually slipped that day in front of me. I was so scared that you fell and you will break something.
He said that?
He said that. Then they started with calling me a Sparky, and I told Shane and...
Who called you that?
Both of them at different times. And I said, listen guys, I'm not a Sparky. A Sparky is somebody that I employ.
That's quite derogatory.
Yeah.
In your capacity.
Yes.
I have friends that are Sparkies, but they don't mind me calling them Sparkies.
Yes. The same case.
You have Sparkies working for you.
Yes, I had. So I told her, no, I'm a 3-phase qualified electrician, installation electrician, The short and version of that is IE. You can call me IE or installation electrician. I'm not your Sparky. And then I asked them, so I was called here for a meeting, what am I doing here? And they just sat back, and then after a while, Heinemann said, well, you can start with telling us why we must pay you, because we're not going to pay your policy.
Right.
That was his word. My lawyer,
Your lawyer is with you.
Lawyer and advocate, and then my advocate actually, he said, right guys, here's 3 doctor's letters that's saying that he must be declared disabled. What are you going to do about that? And they just weird off every time from the disabled medical reports. They don't give any damn about
Shane and Hein are sitting on the other side.
Yes.
And the 3 of you are sitting here.
Yeah. Me, my lawyer, and my advocate.
Yeah.
Never they touch the subject about medical being declared disabled. They only hammered on, but you're still qualified and you still can write out COCs. And I told them, it's like a judge. When he retires, he's still a judge. He will never be, he's not going to turn to being a waiter now or something like that.
Right.
I will always be a qualified 3-phase electrician. So I walked out there, and then after a few weeks of that, they came back and said, no, we're not going to pay you anymore. So in my policy, there was a top-up benefit, and that actually paid my medical, my insurance, all of my discovery stuff was in there. So at the moment, I have nothing. I'm sitting here and
living hand to mouth.
Yes.
Depending on other people to try and support you.
Exactly.
And your children.
Yes.
For that matter.
Yeah. So it's not all that nice going through all of this. So remember, this happened on the 5th of December 2020. We're now in September 2025. And they just don't give a damn.
This is, yours is identical to the other stories that I've been listening to up to now. And yeah, folks, at some point, when we've got to look at what's happening here. Shareholders, policyholders, any other stakeholders, wake up before it's too late. It is happening, and it's happening all the time. I will be speaking about this far more in the future. And bear in mind, I am not here to defame anyone, and I have no axe to grind with any individual, but I will not shut up. I will make sure that I will continue with what I'm doing for as long as I can, with the intention to see and ensure justice to prevail. And we are definitely going to proceed. The next route is obviously the criminal route. We have no options, and it's individual as it was discussed. And people out there, thank you for your support. I can say that the Underdogs versus Discovery has only been receiving positive feedback, total encouragement, and just good words to go. Elmar, thank you for standing up and being noticed. Well, I mean,
yeah,
proverbially standing up. You can't really stand up. Thank you very much for that.
Pleasure.
And yeah, keep posted on this channel. There's more to come.
May I give a short message to Mr. Gore, please?
Please do.
Okay. Mr. Gore, you are the owner of a business. I was the owner of a business. When my employees made a stuff up, there was disciplinary hearings against them. But I still had to own up as the owner and rectify that. I think it's time that you come forward and stand up for your employees, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Elmar.
Thank you.
Well done.